G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Bitcoin update. We are in the process of seeing a major bullish weekly candle and monthly candle close above 28.6k that will further solidify the bullish macro state that Bitcoin is currently facing and will further solidify the fact that we were perfectly on track with what's meant to happen in the 4-year cycle. In 8 hours here from the time this video releases, we will see a weekly candle and a monthly candle close. As you can see, weekly candle in 8 hours, monthly candle in 8 hours. Now, of course, it's very important on the weekly candle that we get above the critical level, the yellow line there at 28.6k. We've discussed that endlessly for weeks and weeks and weeks, and essentially that is the foundation of support for the bull market. And of course, we're testing it right now. We lost it last week after a quick little move above it, and if we get back above it again now in 8 hours, that will be labeled a fake out and we can move upwards further here on the macro. So very important time. If we're looking at previous cycles, we can see there have been similar levels that have formed, such as 6k in 2019. As you can see, when we finally got above 6k in 2019, we skyrocketed and saw a second leg to the move. We could be in store for something similar to 2019 this time around. I have looked at before the fact that Bitcoin is kind of copying 2019, or at least partially, at least it was, right? So we had that horizontal support line in 2019, that foundation of the bull market zone. That similar level was mocked here in 2021, here at 28.6k. As you can see, just before breaking that zone, after seeing a rounding bottom, we saw 3 or 4 doji candles and then a second leg to the move to the upside. And the same kind of thing happened here. We saw 3 or 4 doji candles, and we sort of started that second move. We were briefly delayed, and that could throw off the fractal. But assuming we disregard the last week or so, we could be in store for a similar second leg upwards here, just like we saw in 2019. And that would probably take us to our next major resistance zone, which on the weekly chart, we're looking at around, 36-ish to 37k, somewhere in this kind of price range here that I've just marked out. That could be the peak for the second leg if we do see it. And even if we don't see a second leg in a similar fashion to what we saw in 2019, that is still the next major resistance zone. That's incredibly important to know, right? And I'll say that again, right? The next major resistance zone that Bitcoin will face above this 28.6k level, which we're very, 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 very likely to close over at this point in time. And there's multiple short-term reasons we can get into that in a second. The next major resistance zone is kind of that high 30k region. And, I think that Bitcoin has a very good chance of getting to that region, quite shortly. I mean, it could take, look, if we're comparing it to what happened in 2019, it could be within a month, but at the same time, we do need to understand something that's very important, right? All right. And in order for you to understand this, I need to bring up the 4-year cycle chart. 4-year cycle, 5 micro trends make up one larger trend. One of the important parts of the 4-year cycle is the halving. The halving kicks off a new cycle, and the first part of a new cycle is the bull market, then the bear market, then consolidation, right? So 1 year of bull market, 1 year of bear market, 2 years consolidation. That's generally how it works. We are in the 2 years of consolidation right now, okay? Consolidation will be 2023 and 2024, okay? Towards the latter half of 2024, we will start to see some bull market price action. After the halving, of course, the halving is in just about a year. So basically, from a perspective of cyclical theory, of cyclical trends, we should have no expectation of Bitcoin. And I mean that quite literally. We should not expect Bitcoin to do anything. Expect is the key word there. So long as we don't go to a new low, there is no textbook kind of trend that tells us we need to go up a certain amount. So long as it doesn't go to a new low, and so long as we see a bull market at starting the end of next year, we're kind of in the dark here. So Bitcoin realistically could do whatever the hell it wants, okay, until late next year or after the halving next year. So I guess you could say the second half of next year, okay. We can do whatever we want on Bitcoin. Bitcoin can do whatever it wants, okay. But the fact that we have made such significant progress, the fact that we have broken above such major levels, the fact that we have taken, on the monthly chart, the 21 EMA, which we're closing above quite soon, which has only ever indicated the start to a bullish kind of market environment. The fact that we have seen, I'm going to bring it up now on a different chart. Before we get into that, the fact that we have seen the 200-week SMA be taken back, the fact that we have seen the bull market support band be taken back, the fact that we did hold a 9-year-long uptrending support line, the fact that on the monthly chart here, let me bring it up, the BLX, we have seen a bullish cross on the monthly RSI that's only happened 3 other times in Bitcoin's price history. That has always led to 3-figure percentage gains, okay? The fact that we've seen all this stuff, even though there's no expectation, even though there's no obligation for Bitcoin to move upwards during this period of time, does indicate that Bitcoin probably will be looking bullish, okay? And you know, another thing we can add to that, really, and just on this train of thought, the gold correlation. We talked about this yesterday in yesterday's video quite a lot. Bitcoin has correlated itself quite strongly with gold. In fact, the correlation with gold has now, for the first time in Bitcoin's price history, surpassed the correlation it has to traditional markets. Of course, this is short term. You know, it hasn't been correlated, more strongly correlated for a significant amount of time, but it is significant progress. In fact, it's revolutionary. History has been made here. Bitcoin's more correlated to gold than it is to stocks right now. Excellent stuff, because Bitcoin's digital gold, guys, okay? And what is gold? Gold is a slow-moving asset that acts semi-independently to the economy, okay? We've seen gold go upwards massively while the entire economy has tanked. Okay, while the S&P 500 has tanked, gold has skyrocketed. Okay, it hasn't skyrocketed. That's the wrong word to use. But the fact is, it's held its own. It's held its own. It's gone sideways. Yeah, a little bit of correction here, but ultimately it's gone up and it's recovered almost fully, while the S&P is still down like 30%. Okay, so gold is very, very strong right now, considering the macro environment. If Bitcoin's more correlated to that kind of asset than it is to the stock market, given the fears and the FUD and all that stuff that's going on with the stock market, that's great for Bitcoin. So that's another thing to be bullish about, right? Speaking of that, gold's coming into the end of this kind of 3-year long pattern here, this triangle formation. It will be coming to an apex at some point this year. Perhaps we break it to the upside. That will be excellent. And perhaps we break it to the downside. We'll have to wait and see. I would say we're most likely going to break that to the upside, given the fact that gold is kind of acting as a kind of counteracting asset to traditional markets. I think it will probably break to the upside there, but again, we'll have to wait and see. TA does actually work very well on gold. A lot of people think it doesn't. It clearly does work very well on gold. But that's another bullish thing as well. So I suppose the point I really wanted to make in this video, and I'll get back into the weekly candle and the monthly candle in a second, is the fact that you need to understand, guys, there's literally no, I can't find the right chart here, but it doesn't really matter. There's literally no expectation from a trend perspective for Bitcoin to do anything in particular until after the halving. We are in the dark. We are in a blind zone. We can find trends, we can find macro, but ultimately our short to medium term TA is going to guide us through this. Thankfully for us, our short, medium term, and long term TA at this point in time are very, very strong. And so we should be able to make it through this kind of dark patch until the halving quite smoothly. I think we will. I think Bitcoin looks good. Okay. And even if it doesn't, so long as it doesn't go to new lows, we're good. We're good to go. 4-year cycle still active. So, even on short term charts here, this is tying back into the original topic. As I said, we're seeing 8 hours into the weekly candle close. We're seeing 8 hours into the monthly candle close above 21 EMA. Major stuff is happening here in the next 8 hours. I think we will see both those closes close very successfully. And we've just seen Bitcoin on shorter time frame on the hourly chart break out to the upside of a triangle formation. It is forming on top of this yellow support line, which is a great news, by the way. It's forming a triangle on top of yellow support after moving upwards. That is called a bullish pennant formation, ladies and gentlemen. And that bullish pennant formation has just broken to the upside, and we will most likely see a move on Bitcoin following through to that 30,600 region. That is the most likely next target for Bitcoin, 30,600. So that looks good as well. Lots of good stuff we're seeing all across the board for Bitcoin. We're seeing Ethereum move above its previous resistance zone in this yellow line. We're seeing the total cryptocurrency market cap move above and close 2 consecutive daily candles as a flip for resistance on support there on its green line that is stemming back here. From 2022, we're seeing major stuff all across the board, all of which is very good. I will say it, again, I've said it many times before. I think the bearish argument is extremely weak. I think the bullish argument is looking very, very good. I think it's very unlikely. That Bitcoin goes to new lows. I don't think it's likely at all. Bitcoin drops below 15 point whatever it was K, right? Something in that low region. I think it's 15.4K. I think it's very unlikely. I think, the fact that we've gotten so far here on this move, in fact, we've seen the best Q1 in Bitcoin's history. I don't even need to name any more facts, right? If you need more facts than I've already named here, I think you're in denial to a certain extent. Okay, we've moved up very, very strongly. We've proven ourselves very, very strongly here on Bitcoin, and I don't think we're likely at all to see new lows. And guess what? If we drop below critical levels, we can flip our opinion. We can change our opinion. 25.2K is one of those levels, but at this point in time, it's not even on the table. So that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. Great stuff. It will be excellent to see. Obviously, I'm making an assumption that it's going to close over 28.6K on the weekly and the monthly. But if we do, and I think we will, it's great to see that happen, because that's just another step in the right direction. Getting over the 21 EMA on the monthly chart is not it's not an achievement that should be disregarded at all. I mean, we've never faked out this line. We've never actually faked out this moving average, this blue line here. The only time we faked it out is during the peak panic of COVID-19. that drop there, that is the only time we've ever faked out. Every time we've gone above this line or below this line, we have moved through in a major swoop. Look at these lines here, moving through in a major swoop minus COVID. We've moved up again, and as per the TA, we should be moving through. Yeah, it's going to take a long time. Yeah, it's the monthly chart. Yeah, it's diluted, but overall, should be moving through in a major swoop, okay? And the BLX on the monthly chart as well has indicated that that will be the case. We've seen a bullish cross there. We've never faked out a bullish cross, guys. We've only ever seen a bullish cross or a bearish cross occur and seen significant price action to the upside or downside. Major stuff here, guys. So, don't disregard it. Trust for charts. Don't trust these, the one-liners, Bitcoin's going to get dragged down. Trust for charts. I'm saying it over and over and over again because it's very, very, very important. And a lot of people seem to not be able to understand it. I will say this. So, we've covered, just to recap here, we've covered the fact that Bitcoin's likely going to get a very bullish monthly and weekly candle close. We've covered the fact we're seeing a short-term breakout at this point in time, which is great news, of course. We've covered the fact we've seen the gold correlation. Another thing we need to cover, I suppose, is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is moving up, and this just supports the argument I've been making over and over and over again for, almost 2 years now, the 4-year cycle argument. Bitcoin dominance is moving upwards well. Obviously Bitcoin dominance now is very different to what it was back here. There's more stable coins, there's more altcoins in general. It's very diluted. But ultimately we are trending upwards just like we were in the previous bear market. We can see that uptrend starting around the time we bottomed out on Bitcoin. And so this means we are in a Bitcoin dominated market right now. Bitcoin is controlling the market, which is what it's meant to do until the actual bull market starts, at which time after the halving, altcoins take dominance. And why does that happen? Because the market gets parabolic, people get greedy, new people rush in, they don't want to buy Bitcoin, that's old, it's old dinosaur coin. They buy all the new altcoins, they get wrecked, and then it goes back into Bitcoin. That's what happens every single time, and every indication we're seeing right now with Bitcoin dominance moving upwards says that's going to happen again. That's something we need to watch as well, but ultimately as well, there is a more major kind of overarching thing we need to watch for the next 3 days. 3 days and 2 hours from now, we're seeing the FOMC meeting. That means that the Federal Reserve will be raising rates or potentially keeping rates at the same level. There's a 16% chance they don't raise at all, and there's an 83% chance they do raise. So we'll see what happens there. We'll discuss that more in tomorrow's video and the implications that might have on the traditional markets and potentially even Bitcoin. So few things to look over the next few days. Overall, the weekly candle and monthly candle are probably, I hate making assumptions like this before it happens. Assuming nothing ridiculous happens, they're probably going to be closing quite well, and that's going to reinforce the bullish argument even further. So good news there, guys. Okay, guys, Bitget, the Bitget exchange, 5 times lower fees than Binance, non-KYC, optional KYC, which means you can choose to KYC or not in this exchange. For various personal reasons, you might not want to KYC, potentially your country doesn't allow it, whatever. You can use this exchange from any country in the world, non-KYC. Again, 5 times lower fees than Binance. They've released their reserves information. Everything you need on exchange is on this exchange. I've used this exchange for over a year. I highly recommend you do as well. And you can sign up using my referral link for exclusive discounts on rewards, and that will be in the description below. We've also got Become a Trader 10-unit course. If you want to learn how to trade, this is the place you can do it. The website link, which has all the information you might need, is in the description below. You can read up all about it and throw us an email. Our email address is on that website as well. You can email us for questions about the course or requesting information. We'll send you through a full document for free. And then we have, of course, the VIP group. Guys, if you want to join VIP, Wolves Crypto VIP on Telegram, we do have VIP memberships available, 100 USD for 3 months. We have 136 members at this point in time, and we post altcoin trading signals sub-daily. We've released our results in the past, so you don't need to trust my word for it. You can see the results and see historically how well we've done. We've done very bloody well. Check that out as well. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next video.